Hi and good morning. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. We've got a couple of things to do in this upload, so bear with me. I also want to talk about a few personal things that's been going on in the background of the observatory. I suppose before we do, I want to just say a big thanks to those few people, always a few people, that help keep our observatory going and the information flowing for you guys. Starting with a bit of personal information, I feel a bit cloudy at the moment. I've just come back from the dentist having a root canal filling. I don't know if any of you guys out there, I'm sure some of you have had that experience, and it's not pleasant. You know, you're lying in that chair for nearly an hour whilst having 3 of your roots drilled right down to almost the stem and filled, and there's lots of x-rays being taken place so that the dentist knows that they've got to the point where they need to. So yeah, and the other thing is Thursday we've got an appointment with a cancer specialist to find out what's been going on. Now, for some people that are new to the channel, January I was diagnosed with cancer in the lungs, and I thought, well, this requires a second opinion. At the time, felt rotten, like as you would experience, if you was suffering with that. Coughing up lots of blood. I couldn't control the coughing. It would just start, and it wouldn't stop. And I spent many nights, just lying there on the bed, wishing I could get some sleep, but couldn't stop coughing. And obviously, it was a very frightening experience. We've had, 3 CT scans, 1 PET CT scan, to find out what's going on. I will say this, that on the PET CT scan, what they did find was this 5 centimetre anomaly in my lung had shrunk. Now, having studied biology, not medicine I will add, but having studied biology, we did radiate in Reading University corn seeds, and studied what happens when you give simple bio-life forms like corn cancer, because that's exactly what we did. We microwaved it simply for a few seconds, and then we done another one at 10 seconds, another one at 15, and so on, and we studied what the effects was of radiating corn. But basically we give it cancer. So what I will say is, for cancer to reduce itself without any treatment doesn't usually happen. So it has given me a bit of a positive note with regards to that, because what's happened is on the 3rd CT scan, on the PET CT scan, which was the second one, they'd seen it had shrunk. So hopefully we got good news from the cancer specialist this week. What else has been going on? Well, we're trying to find alternative ways of funding this, and I've pushed myself a little bit further by taking some exams. I've got some training at the end of the month. Hopefully that will take away a little bit of the pressure of funding the observatory. There's a lot more I want to do, and I feel we're in the hot zone. We should be doing as much as we can. We're rapidly now approaching, within less than 2 years, that 40-degree mark over the northern hemisphere with the migration of the magnetic North Pole. We're seeing a lot of major floods as a result of ionisation of the upper atmosphere due to the grand solar minimum, shrinking the heliosphere, and also our Earth at this time is going through a rare anomaly, which is a magnetic reversal. Last time it completed a magnetic reversal was 780,000 years ago, and to put it into perspective, we were Homo sapiens only 45,000 years from the start. So we've only been on this planet as a species of Homo sapiens 45,000 years. So we have never experienced what we are going through right now, and it is having detrimental impacts all around the world. It seems to be focused on climate change with regards to causing these flash floods and droughts. That seems to be, if we want to say, okay, what is the major cause and concern that we should be focused on right now, it is those 2 things. And those 2 things damage crops, damage livelihoods, strip away people's wealths in a blink of an eye. Some people go to sleep on a normal day and wake up tomorrow with the house washed away. It's really that bad for westernised people, for those people in the Far East and other parts of the world. You know, they rely on planting their own food, and they try and grow a little bit extra to make a few extra bucks to buy those other important necessities. You know, so we go from the technical lifestyles that a lot of us have here in the West to those simpler lifestyles, which nevertheless are just important, only on different scales, and they get wiped out as well. So this is what we're doing at this observatory is focusing on the main points which we should be aware of, and try to prepare as best we can for ourselves and our loved ones. And if ever we find ourselves in that situation, at least we are starting from the rest of those victims in that region with regards to that disaster. We're starting at a better standpoint. We are prepared, not just mentally, but actually prepared with something set aside, maybe a bug out bag and a few months worth of food. It doesn't cost a lot for a fire striker. It doesn't cost a lot for a few simple amenities that can see you through for a short period of time. But we should be doing that right now, more so than ever. We are the first of our species to experience what we are right now, and we've got a lot more to come. We haven't reached halfway point yet, and we're seeing like today, Joe Biden announcing rescue efforts for those in those floods in the United States. I believe in Tennessee at the moment, where over the night massive amounts of floods through Storm Henry came in, and has devastated people's lives. My heart goes out to you guys, and I just hope that maybe we're lucky enough to have had a few subscribers from Tennessee or some of those other states that have been affected with this recent storm, that have been listening, paid attention, and have some provisions. If not, I just hope the grace of the Lord is with you guys, and you find a way back to the light and normal life as soon as possible. I'm sure that we all wish you guys that. So moving on, we've had two lots of data. One, which we're going to take a look at next, is in Perth, and the other one is from Canada. Both of these guys are superstars, Jeff down there in Perth and Kendall in Canada. Both of these guys have our muon detectors, and Kendall regularly sends us his muon data. Jeff, I'm going to have to, I know you've got some problems with your magnetometer, and we might have to recall them, get them serviced and get them back out to you, or we can send one back over to you as yours are coming back over to us, and we can do that service on that equipment at that point. The more equipment you've got, the more electronics you've got, the more programs you write, the more complex the programs they get, the more vulnerable they get. It's life, guys. Electronics are not everlasting. They do require service, and we have over the years been regularly servicing some of the equipment. Some cases we've sent 3 magnetometers out to one person to keep them equipped and keep that data coming in for us here at the observatory. So it requires funding. It's as simple as that. We can't do this on our own. I am trying my best here. I'm pushing it even more than what I thought I could do. It is difficult at times. Sometimes when you don't get no funding and there is money to be spent, and you start going into your own pocket regularly, which I do, it is not just hard to achieve, it is also sad. You get a little bit despondent. So obviously you've noticed the reduction in the amount of videos that we're putting out on YouTube. They're probably coming in one every 4 or 5 days, maybe one a week. It's simply because of the time that we're having to invest now in other things to keep everything else going, and keeping the roof over maverickstar's head here at the observatory. So let's get on and have a look at the data. So here we are looking at Perth's recent data. There's not a lot of it there, a total of 11 hours runtime. Jeff's told me that he's got problems with his magnetometer. He's not sure what it is, but I think it's down to the power supply. The reason is because it's reading and recording the date time stamps, and the readings of the UT strength are consistent on the charts. So I think there's probably a power supply problem, but it doesn't matter, because whatever the problem is, we can correct it here, even if it means sending out a new magnetometer. But you can see recently, from recent data that we've had, has been really good quality. We're looking at 3,220 readings. They have been dropping off, so we'll just see how we go. There's a couple of things we can do. We can change the power supply. If that doesn't correct things, we'll send another magnetometer out to you, Jeff, down there, and we'll get that one that you've got back sent back here, and we'll have a look at what the problem is. It's somewhat simple. It might be. I don't think there's nothing wrong with the integrity of the program. It might just be that it needs a new battery on the SD card writer, and that might require us to re-upload the software, because I'm not sure if it'll lose the memory of the date time on the SD card writer. So we'll just have to see over the next week. Maybe we can get you to get another power pack in there that can run it, and that might cure the problem. Otherwise, get it sent back to us and we'll get another one sent out to you. But as we can see, I know there's only 43 entries over 11-hour run time. We can see that it is tracking on what heading it usually does, or UT strength and what it usually does. I'm talking about 60 microteslas on average. So at least we can see that is still the case with the minimal data that we've managed to record at this point. So moving on to Canada, Kendall sent us his latest data. It seems to be running sweet. There is, as we found, here at the UK Observatory, there is an incline towards the 60 mark from the left-hand heading down the side there of the UT strength. So there has been a gradual increase over the last month coming from Canada. So again, there was a small anomaly there. Not sure what caused that. The dramatic drop that you can see around the quarter or the 1/3 mark there. We're going to have to start comparing this with solar activity. Maybe it is just solar radiation buffeting off the magnetosphere for a short space of time, and therefore triggering an anomaly like we're seeing here. Or it could just be something else coming in close proximity, which is enough to affect the microchip, which is the XYZ axis magnetometer in the equipment. So we'll keep an eye on that. But what I will say is we're not seeing anything dramatic at the moment. I would be alarmed if I kept seeing it rise and rise and rise. I'd wonder what's going on over there. But as we know from the research over the last few years that we've been conducting, we do know that Canada is losing its field intensity, or its magnetic intensity over that region, and that's why the pole in the beginning started to track over towards Russia. We also know that Russia's intensity is increasing, and that's why again it is winning the magnetic north pole, or the dipole, over towards the epicenter in central Russia. It is going to end up there eventually. We don't know if that will be its final resting place, because we've still got to pass that important 40-degree mark, which we are less than 2 years away from now, as you guys know. So tune in tomorrow. We're going to do Earth Alpha update. We'll look at the CO2 readings, earthquakes, volcanic activity, and a lot of other anomalies that are taking place within that given 24 hours. It gives us an idea of the condition of our control panel, which we look at, which is Mother Earth's control panel, and it lets us know what her health is. And I'm sure that that is important to all you guys. I know that a lot of you don't take it for granted. At the end of the day, this planet gives us the ability to live. It is going through some major changes which could be life-threatening for all biodiversity on this planet. I don't mean that lightly, guys. don't take it for granted that we have pole reversal after pole reversal after pole reversal, because we know our neighbouring planet had what we enjoy but lost it, and as a result lost its atmosphere, lost its water on its surface, and looks the way it does today. And that doesn't mean that it can't happen to Earth. So bear that in mind, and that gives you an idea of how important it is in this anomaly. The magnetic pole reversal is in our day's life today. It lets us know that we are living in serious times of change, and we're witnessing it more than ever now, aren't we? So what is there left to say other than there is a link there? We have suffered poor funding for the last week, I will say that. No one has clicked the donate button once on the website for probably 2 weeks now, and there has been very little raised funds coming from the link that we put down there in the description. So all I can ask is that you join me in this battle at this time, and we'll do our best here, and I'm sure you'll do your best to support us, and we can keep the ball rolling and the information coming in on this rare anomaly. The only other thing to say, guys, at this point is you take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.